I'm Anil Kumar, and in this video, we'll summarize the different forms in which relations can be represented. As you have seen in a couple of videos, you could represent relations with mapping diagrams. Let me write down mapping diagrams. We can represent relations with equations, right? We could represent equations with different kinds of graph. You would also represent equations with ordered pairs, or you could have relations with table of values. So these are some of the different ways in which relations can be represented. Let's take an example. For example, if I have, let's say y equals to 2x plus 1. So this is an equation. Now this equation could be represented as a table of value. So in that case, what you can do is you can write down different values of x and calculate y. So if x is, let us say, 0, then if you put 0 here, 2 times 0 plus 1 is 1, y becomes 1. If x is 1, in that case 2 times 1, 2, 2 plus 1 is 3. For 2 it will give us 5, for 3, 3 times 2 is 6 plus 1, 7. So you get kind of values as shown here. Now in the form of ordered pairs, you could write these as 0, 1 for example, 1, 3, 2, 5, 3, 7, right? So the same data which represents a relation y equals to 2x plus 1 could be represented in this form also. Graph, you could graph this. For example, 2x plus 1, is a straight line. Y-intercept is 1, slope is 2. So a line kind of like this. So it's a rough sketch. It represents the equation 2x plus 1. So this is y-intercept of 1 in the form of a graph, right? And in case of a mapping diagram, let's say this is the input, that's the output. Each element, there's 1-to-1 correspondence in this case, right? So the arrows indicate kind of like this, right? So like this it goes on. All are connected. Okay. Now you could write different values of x. For example, if you write 0 here, you get 1 here, 1 to 3, 2 to 5, and so on. So that is representation of the same equation in different forms. So remember that a relation can be represented in many different forms. You could also write it in words. So one of the forms is also words. In words, I can write this relation as 1 more than twice the input, right? So we could say 1 more than, you can say a number that is 1 more than twice the input, right? And that reminds you that a relation could also be represented in the form of input-output machine, right? So we could also represent this as an input-output machine where x, the independent variable, is the input and y, the dependent variable, is the output. So x is the input, y is the output, and the relation is y equals to 2x plus 1. So that becomes an input-output machine, right? So input-output machine. So that is another way of representing a relation. So remember, there are many different ways in which you can represent relations. They could be represented in the form of different diagrams, equations, graphs, ordered pairs, table of values, or in words as shown in this video. I hope that helps. Thank you.